Okay, welcome everybody to our Mindfulness for New Mums workshop that we are so excited to be live streaming today from our Newport Beach Hope for Her Center for Wellness. I feel truly blessed and grateful to be here with you all. I know that all of us, and especially those that are pregnant and postpartum, are probably feeling even more heightened levels of stress and anxiety during this COVID-19 pandemic. So I want to take a moment before we get into the meditations and the mindfulness practices that we have planned today to first of all ensure that you are sitting in a comfortable seat. That's what I recommend. I don't necessarily recommend, especially if you're prenatal, that you're sitting on the floor for this workshop today. I'd like you to be sitting in a chair. And I'd also like to invite you all to have a journal, some paper, a pen nearby, as we will have time for journaling and time for questions and sharing at the end of each of our practices today, and then we'll have some further time for questions and answers if needed. So just make sure that wherever you are, you're sitting comfortably, you have paper and a pen nearby, and then put that to one side, and let's all just take a moment to arrive and really view this as a gift to yourself, the time that we have together for this next hour, and a time to really focus on you, which if you're prenatal and postpartum particularly, you really need now more than ever. And my intention for the practices I have planned for you all today is pretty much, it's okay to not be okay. So I want all of you in this moment to simply just honor however it is that you're feeling. Right? Whether it's worry, whether it's stress, anxiety, perhaps it's happiness. Maybe you're feeling calm and peaceful. But I think collectively, we're all probably, if we're honest, feeling heightened levels of stress and anxiety right now. So just take a moment to honor how you're feeling without judgment, without criticism, without resistance. You're simply honoring how you're feeling right now. And for those that may be new to mindfulness, that is basically what mindfulness is all about. You honor how you're feeling in each moment, and you utilize your breath as a tool to keep you present, right? So it really is, our breath is our anchor now more than ever during these challenging and turbulent times in our global history. You know, none of us at the outset of this year expected to be living in these circumstances, if we're honest. I mean, nobody predicted this. So, of course, it's taken us all by surprise, and if we look at things from meditation and mindfulness, and I see a lot of rhetoric in, on social media and wellness about, oh, let's just, meditate through it. That's great. Meditation is a wonderful tool to utilize, but it's not going to be the fix-all for everything. So that's why it's really important that we bring together the principles of yoga, the principles of meditation, the principles of mindfulness, to encapsulate them to work in these trying times. And so that means that we honor how we're feeling. If you're feeling stressed, take a moment just to feel stressed. Don't try to, immediately think of something positive if that's not going to work for you. Maybe it's time to kind of just honor why you're feeling stressed and to just sit with that. You might not have the answer. It may not be that you're going to feel 100% back to normal after today's session, but hopefully you'll be learning some new tools that can guide you and that you can utilize each day to kind of manage those heightened feelings of stress and anxiety that we're all feeling and all facing. So we're going to begin with a practice which is one of my favorite mindfulness and meditation practices. So I invite you all to get comfortable wherever you are. Feet are planted on the floor. You can have your palms facing up or down, just whatever serves you best. If you're feeling a little bit harried, a little bit more anxious than normal, then I would invite you to place the palms downward on top of the knees. This just really kind of helps to ground our first chakra, the Muladhara chakra, which is what connects us. The chakras in Sanskrit means wheel, right? So they are the 7 energetic centers located along the spine, beginning at the base of the spine and going all the way to the crown of the head. We'll be doing some work with the chakras today, especially focused on that Muladhara, the root chakra, to really feel that we're kind of grounding down and we're connecting to Mother Earth in the moments that we have together today. So, soles of the feet are planting. Palms I've recommended facing down. If that doesn't feel good to you, you can have them facing up. And you're not kind of slumping back into the chair. I want you all to feel that you're really sitting upright in this moment, comfortably. But sitting upright so the spine can be in a neutral position. Chin can be tucking ever so slightly towards the collarbones. And we're going to begin with 3 deep inhales and 3 deep cleansing exhales. So exhale all of the air out of the lungs. And then begin your inhalation through the nose. And then exhale loudly, audibly through the mouth. So I really want you to sigh that air out. That's what activates the parasympathetic nervous system response in the body, which is the aspect of our central nervous system that calms us. So 2 more times, deep inhalation, loud, audible exhalation. So 1 more time, deep inhale, loud, audible exhale. And once you've completed your 3rd round of that breathwork pattern, release. But if you don't wish to close the eyes, I encourage you to just stare at a focal point on the ground, just averting one of your main senses of sight. And let's just take a moment to pause, to just fully arrive into the physical body in this moment. As you gently relax the shoulders down away from the ears, you relax and release the muscles in the face, any tension in the neck, the jaw area, releasing the tongue from the hard palate of the mouth, releasing the point between the eyebrows, and just taking a moment to arrive. And to honor yourself in this moment, remembering our intention for today, that it's okay to not be okay, it's okay to feel however you may be feeling. There is no right way to feel during this time. And so to honor that, without judgment, without resistance, just to simply honor your emotion in the body. Just utilize your breath as your tool to move to those areas of tension, of tightness. And use your breath to move any stagnant energy out of these spaces and places. And allow the mind and body to come into that place of stillness and of quiet within. Letting go of your daily worries, your cares, your concerns. You have none of those things in this moment. All that you have, just notice how your breath feels. Is it long and smooth? Or is it short and shallow? Just notice. You're not trying to breathe in any particular way right now. You are simply breathing as it comes. There are no need for judgments or opinions here. If you have them, just allow them to drift away like clouds in the sky as you return to your body and your breath, your body and your breath, your body and your breath. Again, if there are any external sounds, just let them be. You will soon be inhaling for my count and exhaling for my count. So exhale all of the air out of the lungs. And then begin your inhalation through the nose with the mouth closed for the count of 1, 2, 3. Exhale through the nose with the mouth closed for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 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 3, 2, 1. Continue that breath work pattern for 5 more rounds at your own pace, to your own count. And as you inhale, I want you to silently repeat to yourself, I am safe. And as you exhale, I want you to silently repeat to yourself, I am secure. So you're silently repeating, I am safe on the inhalation. You're silently repeating, I am secure on the exhalation. And really allow yourself to feel a sense of safety and security enveloping you in this moment, regardless of your external situation or circumstances. I am safe on the inhalation. I am secure on the exhalation. And once you've completed your 5 rounds of that breath work pattern, there's no rush. You're completed, just return to your normal rhythm and pattern of breathing. As we take a few moments in silence to absorb our practice. Slowly start to bring your consciousness, your awareness back to your physical surroundings as you start to feel the weight of your legs on your chair, the weight of your arms on your legs, the weight of your head on your neck, as you slowly and gently blink the eyes open, return where you may be. And now I want you, without speaking, to get your paper, your pen, your journal. And we're going to take a few moments here so you can journal whatever came up for you in that practice. There's no right, there's no wrong. These notes, this journaling practice is simply for you. Research has proven now that journaling really helps us to deal with our emotions, to process our emotions, and really helps to, in some ways, take them out of our mind through, putting them onto paper and pen, basically. So I want you all just to take a moment, and again, this is just for your reference, so feel free to write whatever you want. Those of you may love a journaling practice, and those of you may not be familiar with one, but just really, there's no right or wrong. Perhaps you're writing how the practice felt. Perhaps you're sharing your emotions on the page. Perhaps you're writing about something completely unrelated. Whatever it is, again, there's no right or wrong. We'll take a few moments here to give you that space, that time to journal. And I also want to let you know that we do have a chat box open, and we will be taking questions and comments. So we'll take a few minutes now just to give you that space to journal. And then if you have questions or comments, please do begin to type them into the chat box, and our wellness coordinator, Asia, will kindly read them to me so I can answer them and share them with the group, etc. So we'll just give you a few moments of silence here. So again, take more time if you need it for this journaling practice, but please do write any questions or comments that you have now in the chat box, as we will be taking some time to answer any of those questions that are coming through. Do we have anything, some time at the end for questions as well. So now I'd like you all just to finish up your journaling. And now just put your journal and pen aside as we kind of break now for a bit of community, which normally obviously we'd be all together, but now we're virtual. So I will talk a little bit more about the next practice that I have planned for you all. So what I like to do with these workshops that we offer at Hogue is to introduce people to meditation and mindfulness through pranayama, through just daily mindfulness tips of how we can utilize mindfulness in our day and our life, and then always there will be meditation. There's also time for journaling and sharing. So as we now work on building this virtual community of mothers-to-be and mothers, it's important now more than ever, and I want to share 2 new tips. So obviously we have our intention, it's okay to not be okay. So how do we deal with that? What if we are, bogged down by anxiety and worry right now? We can't stop that internal negative narrative. We can't seem to be able to shake those heightened feelings of anxiety and stress. So 2 things that are really helping me in my own personal life as a mother of a 2-year-old, as a working mother running a business, and definitely myself included, feeling heightened levels of stress and anxiety, especially for my son right now. 2 things that I've been doing in my own personal life that have really helped me are, number 1, a gratitude practice. And it doesn't need to be some elongated practice, it's very simple. What I want each of you to begin doing today is immediately upon rising in the morning, I want you to think of just one thing that you're grateful for. It doesn't need to be anything overly profound. It can be something as simple as, I'm grateful for my breath, or I'm grateful for my dog or partner, or the fact that you have food or shelter, hopefully, whatever it is, your morning tea, something just very simple, the fact that you're pregnant, or you've had your child, whatever it is, just take your mind to something that you're grateful for as soon as you wake. And then hold on to that as you move throughout the rest of your day. And in the evening, just before going to bed, think of something else that you're grateful for. It very well could be the original thing that you were grateful for at the outset of your day. Perhaps it's nice to end with that. Or it could be something new, something that occurred in your day that made you think a different way, that made you appreciate something new. So gratitude, research is proving, really helps those of us in times of stress and anxiety, specifically those of us that may have a predisposition towards heightened levels of anxiety. So they are now proving that gratitude works. It's not all just, trending topics on social media or in wellness. It is proven to work. So again, think of one thing at the outset of your day, so first thing in the morning, and then think of something. How can we stay connected during this time? How can we focus? We can't see people, we're socially isolating, we're quarantining. How can we feel connected during this time? It feels a disconnection. With me personally, I'm really utilizing virtual connection, and it's something honestly that is saving me. Myself, my family, my parents live overseas, my closest friends are overseas, so I'm kind of feeling disconnected in some ways, worrying about when can I see my family and friends again. They're thousands of miles across oceans away. And so what I'm doing daily is making a phone date. House Party's a great app because that way you can actually get more people on. It's free to download. Obviously there's FaceTime, there's Zoom, there's so many different ways that we can feel connected, whether it's WhatsApp, Viber. Find an app and just think about how you can make a connection to a colleague, to a friend, to a loved one each day. And perhaps that's a virtual connection. I know for myself now, I've really been craving that virtual connectivity. So it's really helping me to see the faces of loved ones, especially because they're so far away right now for me personally. It helps to calm and soothe me. And it also helps me to feel that they are connected to me, my family, my son in particular, and, you know, utilizes that kind of practice of mindfulness of being in the present, right? Because when we're face to face with someone, even though we can't do that physically right now, if we're able to do that virtually, it helps to bring us into the present moment. So I strongly encourage all of you to really think about virtual connection, or perhaps it's social media where you're finding that connection. I'm kind of, to be honest with you, finding that somewhat stressful at the moment. There's so many people with so many opinions that sometimes that can be very deafening. So I found for myself anyway, social media is wonderful, but I think it also is really important to take breaks from it and to not feel overwhelmed by some of the picture perfect stories that we see unfolding on social media, and to understand that, you know, nobody's life is perfect. That's a fact. And do your best. And that has honestly been my daily mantra, my daily, you know, intention is do the best that you can. It might not be somebody else's best. It might not be what looks perfect to your neighbor or your cousin or your friend or whatever. It doesn't matter. Do the best that you can each day, because that's all any of us can do right now during this pandemic. So, to review, it's okay to not be okay. There's no right way to feel. So don't feel pressured to feel any specific way, right? Honor your needs, your wants during this time, and try to prioritize them as much as possible. Now, for our postpartum parents that have joined us, that's difficult, but really try to find time and space. I can be honest, and I'm more than happy to share with you, my daily meditation practice now is taking place in my car in the garage, because that's the only quiet space that I can find away from my son, away from our dog. And to be honest with you, I'm quite enjoying it. It's like become my haven of peace. So it doesn't need to look perfect. But if you're just able to take 5 minutes out for you, and I do myself, I take at least 20 minutes in the car where I'm doing my mantra practice, my meditation practice, my pranayama practice, which is breath work, which is mantra, which is meditation. It really helps to keep me sane and focused throughout this time. And then, of course, to focus on that connectivity and how you can build community right now, and connect with people perhaps that you weren't so much before, that we didn't often have the time to do before. Now we kind of have been afforded that opportunity. So how can you utilize making those connections to help with stress reduction? Because it is also proven, and I do love research has proven that those of us with a more negative disposition are actually served by spending time, now we can't do that physically, but by interacting with people that have a more positive disposition. And by that, I don't mean positive vibes only. Personally, I don't believe in that. I think that that's spiritual bypassing, and of course we're all feeling stressed and anxious, so just telling everybody that meditating is going to help, we're never going to feel stressed throughout this time, to me is very unhelpful. It's really important that you are honoring your needs, and I'll talk a little bit at the end today about our maternal mental health program, because we have resources in place that we are currently still offering to all of our clients and patients. You don't have to be a client, perhaps you're interested. I'll share details at the end, and our Asia, our wellness coordinator, will type in our website via the chat room at the end. But we are here for you at Hogue, and we are offering telemedicine and telehealth to our patients and clients who may be in extra need during this time. So now, we're going to get ready for our next meditation practice, but a little bit of an introduction. So I mentioned at the beginning about chakras. So some of you may be familiar with chakras, but just to reiterate, chakra in Sanskrit means wheel. They are the 7 energetic systems that are aligned along the spine. They begin at the base of the spine, and that's the one that we're going to be working on today, which is really important, especially for those of you prenatal and certainly those postpartum, to really feel that we're grounding down, we're connecting to Mother Earth. You know, and even if we can't go outside, we're just feeling that connection even in our own homes during this time. The root chakra is called Muladhara in Sanskrit, and that's what we're going to be focused on today. A very kind of grounding earth practice, because I often find that when I'm dealing with states of stress and anxiety within my own mind and within my own physical body and the lives of my patients and clients, it really helps to feel that connection to Mother Earth in this moment and in this time. So again, just get set up wherever you are, but I strongly encourage you to do this in a seat. In a seat, soles of the feet are planted on the ground, spine is straight, so it's kind of a similar setup that we had in our first pranayama mindfulness practice. So again, I would invite you, if that feels good, to have the palms pressing down. Spine is long here, and I want you to feel that you're lifting the pelvic floor here in your seat. You know, feel that engagement here. So we're not slumping, we're kind of engaging the core here. We're lifting the pelvic floor. We're kind of pulling the abdomen up and in. Soles of the feet are firmly grounding into the floor. Palms are pressing down. Chin can be slightly tucking towards the collarbones, but head is in line with the neck. You can gently close the eyes. You don't wish to close the eyes. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine, but I do encourage you then to stare at a focal point on the ground. And again, we're going to begin, as we did, with our 3 deep inhales and cleansing exhales. So exhale all of the air out of your lungs. And then begin with a deep inhalation through the nose and a loud, audible exhale through the mouth. So sigh that air out. That's that activation of our parasympathetic nervous system response in the body, which is the aspect of our autonomic nervous system that calms us. So 2 more times. Deep inhale, loud, audible exhale. 1 more time, your deepest inhalation yet. And now completely exhaling, letting everything go. Just take a moment again to arrive. Feel your feet rooting into the ground in this moment. Feel the connection of your palms pressing onto the tops of the thighs. Again, reminding yourself that there is no right way to feel in this moment. That it's okay to not be okay. And that you're taking this time for yourself today to honor yourself and your needs in this moment, which are equally as important, if not more important, than other people's needs. Think about self-care. It's really important that we first take care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, so then we can be of service to others. Certainly as mothers and mothers-to-be, we need to make sure that we prioritize our own needs. Any external sounds, don't let them serve as a distraction. If thoughts are coming into the mind, just gently release them and just let them drift away like clouds in the sky. Now I want you to take your attention to the base of the spine now, Muladhara root chakra. I want you to visualize a vibrant color red in this area. And feel this vibrant, warm, circulating energy emanating from the base of the spine, moving up through the torso, the fingertips, the arms, the shoulders, the neck, right through to the crown of the head. And feel this warm, circulating energy in a vibrant red moving down through the lower half of the body, from the hips, the sits bones, the thighs, the knees, the shins, the calves, the ankles, heels, the feet, through to the tips of the toes. Feel that you are safe and secure in this warm, energetic embrace in this moment. You're feeling at one with this energy emanating from the root space, moving up throughout your entire physical body in this moment. And now feel that you are growing roots through the soles of your feet. Like a tree, you're growing these roots right down to the core of Mother Earth in this moment. Feeling that energy now moving down through these roots that you're building to Mother Earth to keep you strong, to keep you stabilized, and to keep you safe and protected. Feeling these roots going right down to the core of the earth as you draw on this grounding energy, moving now the sits bones, the hips, the torso, fingertips, the arms, the shoulders, the neck, the face, right through to the crown of the head. You're feeling grounded, nurtured, and protected in this moment. The element of the root chakra is earth. So even if you're not able to get outside, this is a very helpful visualization that you can utilize at any time to feel that you are grounding down into that earth energy. Honoring the earth as our greatest nurturer and provider. You just feel your strength growing in this moment. As you feel yourself letting go of trying to control everything and everyone around you, and instead learning to accept what is and learning to control what you can, relinquishing control of the things that you have no control over, because all that does is cause increased stress and anxiety. So through this practice, we're learning to accept what is, focusing on what we can change, what we can impact, and letting go of what we can't control and what we can't predict. You're taking a moment here to tune in to your own innate wisdom in this moment. Everything that you need lies within you. The answers that you seek to your problems, just spending some time in meditation can help. Perhaps not to solve all of your problems, but to certainly give you greater peace and clarity, which will help with action. When we're feeling really stressed and anxious, it's impossible for us to operate, to make decisions, and to function in our daily lives. The more that we are able to adopt a meditation practice, even for 5 minutes a day, the better served we are to deal with our daily stress and worries that are certainly magnified during this time. And again, through this grounding practice, you're still visualizing those roots growing all the way down from the soles of your feet to the core of Mother Earth. You're not worrying about the future. You're not thinking about the past. You're simply focused on the present moment, which is all that we can control in life anyway. We can certainly plan for the future, and we should plan for the future. But right now, that seems even more difficult than normal. So learn to just relinquish control. Learn to accept what is and control what you can. And telling yourself again in this moment that you are safe, you are secure, doesn't mean that you erase any stress or heightened anxiety that you are feeling or any past trauma. It simply means that you are safe and secure right now in this moment through your breath. That you are learning new tools to navigate this present time. Now release the imagery of the roots going down to Mother Earth. And I want you to take your attention back to the base of the spine, that Muladhara root chakra. Again, just visualize a vibrant color red, but just in this area. And feel that warmth emanating from that space. Knowing that you always have your breath as a tool to get you through this time and beyond. Your breath is your prana, your chi, your life force. It's what you'll need through the labor process and definitely postpartum and beyond. Feel that you're making that connection to your breath in this moment. Now release that imagery of the red, the base of the spine. We just take a moment in silence to absorb our practice. Now start to bring your consciousness, your awareness back to the physical body, feeling your legs on the chair, feeling your palms on your thighs, feeling the weight of your head on your neck as you slowly and gently blink the eyes open, returning to this space. And again, I invite you to get your journal and your pen, and we're going to take a few moments now for you to journal whatever came up for you in that practice. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong answer. These notes are just for you. I strongly encourage you also to try to begin a 5-minute journaling practice each day. Just take a few moments here to journal whatever came up for you, how that practice felt, maybe the difference between the two. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong. And please also take this opportunity to type in any questions, any comments. No question is a silly question, and I really want to make sure that I'm allowing some time today for questions. Answer them so the whole group can benefit from any question that you may be having right now, related to stress reduction, anxiety relief, meditation, mindfulness, whatever it might be. So we're taking a few moments to journal. Please do type in any questions that you have into the chat box. Any comments, just anything, as we work on building this virtual community. Did we have any questions? Did you have any questions? So just a few more minutes now to complete your journaling. And very often it's completely normal to perhaps have felt that, you know, the first practice was different to the second, and perhaps you had more clarity in the second practice, or you preferred the first practice. There is absolutely no right or wrong way to meditate. And that's kind of what I want to spend the rest of the time that we have today talking about. How each of you can adopt a practice. So perhaps we'll just take the next minute to wrap up the journaling that you're doing. And then please do put your journal, your pen, your paper down. And if you have any questions, now's the opportunity to type those into the chat box. I'll be taking those at the end if there are any comments, any concerns. But now I want to talk about how you can actually do a meditation or mindfulness practice right now in your house. And I couldn't honestly think of a better time to begin. I'm very often asked, I'm kind of going to go through for the time that we have left today, debunking some myths around meditation. So I'm very often told or asked by people, you know, how can I adopt a meditation practice that works? I'm also often told that, oh, I've tried meditation, but it just doesn't work for me. So there's a couple of things to those two very popular questions that I'm asked all the time that I'll talk about. So number one, meditation isn't going to work if you're, to be honest with you, once a week. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be as effective. It doesn't mean that you won't have some impact, but like anything, meditation works when you make it a regular part of your routine. So what does that mean? That means very simply that you have to do it, and you have to do it daily. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm already inundated with things to do, or I'm so anxious I can't meditate. And honestly, that right now it could be, in some ways, a more difficult time to think about adopting a practice. But what I say to you all is, and that's why I give you the two options. So what I would recommend if you're somebody that's feeling so anxious that you just can't sit still, you might be listening to a guided meditation, it's just not working, you're finding the mind is really wandering. What I would say to you is then focus on your breath. So the pranayama practice, that kind of mindfulness meditation practice that we did, the first meditation was very simple. You count the inhale, so you inhale for 3, and when you're pregnant, you don't ever hold your breath. So there's many different types of pranayama practices that we can have postpartum, that's fine, but when you're prenatal, you don't want to be holding any of the inhale or the exhale. You just want to be inhaling for a specific count, and maybe 3 is too much, certainly in the 3rd trimester, you know, as the diaphragm and lungs lift, as the belly expands, you will absolutely feel a shortness of breath. So perhaps counting to 3 is simply not accessible. Inhale for 1, exhale for 1. So really start to, don't make it yours, right? So that's my first tip. Begin a daily practice and do something that works for you. Now, guided meditations are really, really useful, really helpful. You can find my 5-minute meditation at shantiwithin.com, SHANTIWITHIN.com. There's a free 5-minute pranayama meditation that's accessible to everybody. You can do that. There are countless other apps out there. Headspace, Calm are very popular ones. But what I would say is, sometimes when we get on apps, there's so much choice that we spend, you know, the 15 minutes that we might have to meditate trying 5 different meditations, not liking any of them, and then not having actually done anything. So I would say, you know, don't think of that you need to do a different meditation every day. You don't. Find maybe 1 or 2 meditations that are working for you and do those. Now, guided meditations are great because they take the effort and work out of the practice, right? If you're somebody that feels that they don't really resonate with guided meditations, then just perhaps focus on doing that breath work that I taught you all at the beginning. So you're inhaling for 3, you're exhaling for 3, and you're really feeling that inhalation rising in the body, and you're feeling that exhalation falling in the body. So why is that important? One of my favorite authors on mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh, if you're looking to add to your reading list, one of my favorites, he's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. What I love about him is, first of all, he's an authentic mindfulness practitioner and teacher, and his books are short and simple. One of my favorites is No Mud, No Lotus. You can buy that on Amazon or perhaps on Kindle, you know, whatever serves you best. It's a really good introduction to Buddhism and mindfulness, basically. And it's simple. You know, for me, if I'm thinking about mindfulness, I don't want to read a book that's 5,000 pages long. His tend to be like 100 pages long, so completely doable and really important, because it's books like his that you will continue to come back to because they're short and simplistic. The body and mind together as one. So that's why it's really important in a meditation practice that you focus on your breath, because that is what is going to keep you present and anchored to the present moment, especially through these challenging and turbulent times, whilst you're pregnant, whilst you're postpartum. So, guided meditations, really good, really useful. I honestly, to be honest with you, I highly recommend using one, especially as a new practitioner to meditation, because they work, they take the effort out of it. I love guided meditation, and I've been practicing meditation for years. And they're great because sometimes it's nice to just let go and be taught, similar to what we're doing today. So those are options. If that doesn't resonate with you, think about simply perhaps setting an alarm clock, right, for a specific fixed amount of time, and then doing your breath work. You're counting for 3 on the inhale, you're counting for 3 on the exhale. Maybe you're repeating some intentions, something that you've made up. Perhaps it's the ones that we did today. I am safe, I am secure, or whatever serves you best. The third point is, don't think about lofty goals in a meditation practice. Really just think about accessibility. So to me, what I strongly encourage you all to do is 5 minutes. Just think about committing to a meditation practice for 5 minutes each day. And that will be a topic that I'll talk about a lot more in our daily routines and the accessibility of a 5-minute practice. So think about that. I strongly encourage you all to begin a practice. It will really help you throughout this challenging time and beyond as you journey towards motherhood, or perhaps you're already in motherhood. Meditation will help you. Now I want to pause before ending to see if we have any questions, Asia. Okay. So if you have any questions, now's the time, or we will be ending in a few minutes. And I want to end by saying thank you all so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure, a blessing, an honor to be with you. Stay tuned to Hogue, whether it's through their social media or our website, to find out more about our live streaming classes at the Hogue Centers for Wellness. And I also want to talk about our maternal mental health program. So for those of you that may be feeling that you're far more stressed and anxious than you were before because of COVID-19, or perhaps it's just through pregnancy or postpartum, we are here for you at Hogue. Our maternal mental health program is in operation. We are offering visits through telehealth, and Asia will be able to share the web link directly with the group.
And we did get a question.
Okay. Question.
This is from Kristen. How would you navigate other people's negative/heavy emotions and stress responses when sheltering in place with them? I have a newborn and toddler and find the other adult energies to be a personal burden.
Right. Oh gosh, isn't that the truth? So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. And maybe I'll just repeat that, so because I have to answer to the group.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I'm just going to kind of encapsulate that. We had a question from a mother who's postpartum that has a toddler that is basically asking for tips and tools as to how we can manage other negative energy while sheltering in place. Perhaps that's from a partner or a family member, or perhaps to others out there. It could be colleagues, friends, what have you. But obviously much more difficult. We'll focus specifically on that negative energy whilst we're sheltering in place. And to be honest, it's difficult. I wish I could give you a very quick fix solution to this. What really works for me is to first focus on you. And like we talked about with our grounding root chakra meditation, you have to prioritize your needs. And that's obviously very difficult for those of us with children. It is. I'm a mother myself, I'm a toddler. It's very difficult to find the time to prioritize my own needs right now. But even if it's just 5 minutes, find that time. The other tip is, if you are sheltering in place with a partner who is unsupportive and who may be prone to negative energy, perhaps more so now than ever, is to really try to not engage as much as possible. I think it's difficult for all of us sheltering in place right now because we're kind of forced to spend a lot more time together than we normally would. And I think sometimes distance is a wonderful thing, which we don't have the luxury of these days. So what I would say is try to create some distance. And if you're finding that your partner is aggravated more than normal, to try to create as much space as you can if that's possible. Now, I do want to share that for some of us, it's simply not possible. So if there's any people that are suffering, like I said, from additional states of stress or anxiety, I highly recommend our maternal mental health program. And there's many charities and nonprofits out there that are offering support for domestic violence, domestic abuse, whatever it might be. So please, now is the time to reach out for additional support. And it's not the time to suffer in silence. So if you're finding that your home situation is causing you undue stress, please do reach out to us at Hogue, and we can certainly help you find the resources that you need to during this difficult time. But in closing, while sheltering in place with someone with negative energy, try to create distance, try to create space. If that's not possible, try to be vocal about your needs and your requirements, maybe for some time to yourself. And if that's still not possible, like I said, make sure that you're not feeling isolated and that you're reaching out to people to kind of connect virtually. Because if you're not getting that support from within your own household, it's really important that you feel that you're supported. We're here to support you. We can offer resources with other healthcare providers and nonprofits that are able to support you, but we really want you to know that you're not alone, and we don't want anybody to feel that they're suffering in silence. So if you don't feel that you're getting the support within your own house, find that virtual connection with other family members, friends, and really try to practice mindfulness and meditation as much as possible. I'm finding myself, and I know that we're running out of time, but just to close, I'm finding myself much more reactionary than I would normally be in my household now, with my son, with my husband, just finding